I'm really excited. There is another solar eclipse coming up. And you think of these as rare, and they're probably not quite as rare as you might expect. But the idea is that the moon, and I brought my prop moon with me, passes in front of the sun as seen from the Earth. And so the reason solar eclipses feel like they're rare is that if you picture me as the Earth, the moon has to be perfectly aligned for us to get an eclipse. And sometimes the moon's a little bit high, so it passes above the Earth. Sometimes it's a little bit low, and it has to be in the Goldilocks zone, just right to pass in front of the Earth, and we get a solar eclipse. Christopher Palma, teaching professor in the Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics. So you probably remember 2024. You could not get away from information about the eclipse, and the reason being, it was the moon was passing just right to perfectly have the shadow from the moon land on the US. And that's relatively rare. And so eclipses aren't necessarily rare, but an eclipse passing through one spot on Earth is rare. And so 2024 was the first time an eclipse was passing mostly through the US in decades. So this one is the exact opposite. You've probably heard nothing about this one because the moon's in a different spot in the sky. And so the pathway is actually going to go through Siberia, Greenland, Iceland, and it's going to touch in Spain. The date of the eclipse is August 12th of this year. Again, I'm going to go see it in Spain. Exactly what time the eclipse happens depends on where you are observing it. So for us, where I'm going to be, we're going to see it at sunset. It's going to start at around 7 o'clock. And as the sun sinks lower in the sky, we're going to see the eclipse get darker and darker and darker. And the full eclipse is going to happen right before sunset, which makes it not quite as good as the one we all saw a few years ago. The good thing is, we do have remote capabilities, and I would not be surprised that if you look up NASA, they will likely have a live stream of at least one place where the eclipse is happening. We get the impression that eclipses are so rare. They only happen every, say, 50 or 100 years. But I wanted to point out, here we are in 2026. It's only 2 years later, and there's another one. It's just they all happen in different parts of the world. And so solar eclipses are not nearly as rare as you think, but because the moon's path varies, for it to go through your location, that's what's rare. So for us in Pennsylvania, we're not going to get a beautiful eclipse like the one we had 2 years ago until 2099. But somewhere on the Earth, there's often a solar eclipse happening, and you can travel to go see them. People take cruises, they take airplane flights, or they go visit someplace they've always wanted to go visit just to see the eclipse.